Hi everyone, welcome to week 6. I wanted to again make some videos, share some videos, and also go over the week's assignments. As always, remember your textbook is right here. You can click and read the chapters that are assigned. We are continuing with chapter 5. Remember, we didn't finish chapter 5 last week. And the reason for that is because chapter 5, section 5.5 is applications of percentages in cases such as taxes, interest, and things like that. So they require a little bit more work, and it would be just too much in 1 week. And we have combined that with measurements, basically American versus metric units, the conversion between the two, and also focusing on converting units of length in the metric unit, which is pretty simple and straightforward. For measurements, I'm going to include a video and a website from outside sources for you to watch and to read and examine. But for the percentages, I'm going to make my own video, as I will do every week. Also remember again, multimedia library, where you have access to extra information and extra resources for all the topics that we learn each week. This is just a reminder of how to effectively prompt AI. And in this case, we're asking you to use an AI tool to answer some questions. I want to, make sure that you understand that we would give you an assignment that asks you to use AI for research and all of that. It doesn't mean that you are going to basically copy whatever AI gives you word for word and give it to us. The point is to learn how to effectively use AI to add to your information as a resource and as a source, not to do the work. So please make sure that if you use do this, that you don't just copy and paste what AI gives you. Go through it, rewrite in your own words, and add your own comments or whatever before you submit those. Back to this one, we also have our regular homework and our regular quiz for the week, which again focuses on metric units and the applications of decimals, and I mean percentages, and that's what I'm going to do. And we'll go from there. So just a quick reminder that when you use percentages for calculations, you have to change them into a decimal. And we learned that last week, and I made a video. And basically, if you're changing the percentage to a decimal, you need to just divide it by 100, or very simply, let's say you have 60%. Okay, all numbers have really a decimal right here at the end. We just don't see it. You just move it to move that decimal 2 places to the left, and you get your decimal. So 60% becomes 0.60. So you have to be very careful about that, because this is very different than 6%. Because if I try to move that decimal 2 places, I don't have a second place. So I would have to put a 0 over there to have that second place to move my decimal to. So that becomes 0.06. So be careful with that, okay? Or just divide by 100 using a calculator so you don't make a mistake. So let's say, for example, in Maryland, where I live, the sales tax is 6%. So 6% as a decimal is 0.06. So if I buy something that's $10, and I want to find out how much the tax is on the $10 purchase, I multiply. So every time you are finding the tax on something, or interest on something, or tip on something, or you are finding percent of something, okay? All of those are multiplications. So that of, or it translates to a multiplication problem. So a 6% tax, 6% of $10, or 6% tax on $10 will be 10 times 0.06, which either you can do in your head or use a calculator, okay, regardless, okay? So you can multiply 6 by 10, you can get 60 if you're doing it in your head, but because there are 2 decimal places here, we're going to move the decimal point 2 places to the left, and that gives us 60 cents, which makes sense that on a $10 purchase, the tax is not $60. So if you did that, you would know that you made a mistake, right? So that's the amount of tax. Now, the total I would pay at the register would be 10 plus 0.60. That's my tax, right? And that would give me $10.60. That would be my total. Tips work the exact same way. So let's say that you have a $32 bill, okay? And you're paying 15 percent tax on it. Again, 15% as a decimal is 0.15, and 32 times 0.15. And then you can use a calculator to multiply it, okay? And that I've already done this one, so I'm just going to write it. So it's $4.80, okay? So that's just the amount of the tip. Something happened over here. Hold on one second. All of my window's closed. So let's try this again. Okay. So that's just the amount of my tip, right? The amount of my tip is $4.80, but what I would pay is that $32 plus $4.80, which gives me $36.80. So that will be my total bill. Okay. As simple as that, right? Now, sometimes it's just a little bit different because you have discounts. Let's say you have a $15 purchase and or item, and it's off by 20%. Okay, you still would find the amount of discount the same way by multiplying. First, we're going to change this into a decimal, which will be 0.20, and then we're going to multiply it by the original amount. Okay, and that's going to give me 3. All right, that's the amount of discount. That's not how much you pay at the register. You just found out how much off you would get off that $15 purchase. So in this case, so because it's coming off, then it's a subtraction. So you're going to subtract 15 minus 3, and your purchase after the discount will be $12. But you see that the idea is the same. So you're going to take 2 steps solving these problems. You're going to change your percentage to a decimal, and then you're going to take the decimal and multiply by the original amount if needed, and either add if it's a tax or tip, or subtract if it's a discount. Okay. The other problems that you have to do with interest, and you're going to have to remember one very simple formula, PRT. Okay, so interest is found by multiplying the principal. Okay. Rates, which you would know it's a rate because it comes as a percentage. Okay, and T is time. Okay, that's all you need to do. It's literally multiplication problem if you're finding the interest. You have to remember again to change the rate. Okay, that's given into as a percent into a decimal first. Okay, and then multiply straight across. Okay, it's literally multiplication problem. Okay, so let me see. Let me go back and try to open my okay, so I think I'm going to look at one of the homework assignments that had interest. So give me 1 second. There we go. Okay, right here. Okay, and I'm going to look at one of the examples. Okay, so right here it says that Dave placed 7,000 in a 1-year CD, and they pay 3.5% on the CD. How much interest will they get? All of this is basically interest. So the formula is interest, principal, RT. So look at how they break this down for you, okay? The principal, and I misspelled principal, by the way, on my paper, but it's the other principal, not this one. Let me change that on my paper. Okay. So the principal is 7,000. That's his original amount, right? So that goes over here. And then the interest is, remember I told you can find that by looking at what is given in a percentage. And that's 3.5, which we're going to change into a decimal. And time is a 1 year CD, okay? So all it is, so I'm showing you this so that you know how to use the examples on the homework to help yourself. Okay, that's one way to do it. Or you can use help solve me this problem, which basically gives you prompts step by step to solve a problem. But I wanted you to see how you can use this if you've never seen it. So basically, look, super simple. 7,000, okay, 3.5% times 1. Now remember, this is going to change into a decimal. They're just showing you how to place everything, okay? Notice that they change it to a decimal, and all it is multiplication. And you can use a calculator for that. So the interest on a 7,000 CD at 3.5% will be $245. The question is only asking you about interest. So you're done. If the question had asked you how much will he have at the end of the year, then you would have to take one more step and add 7,000 to 245 and get $7,245. But that's it. Okay, as simple as that. Okay, here's another one. I think there was another problem. Maybe they're only there are only a couple problems that I've asked you to do using the interest formula. So, but pretty much it's the same thing. So I think I'll stop over here. All the other ones have to deal with either the taxes or tips or discounts, and then the metric unit measurements, which I will post a separate video. The only other thing that I just remembered that I need to do for you is to explain how to find percent increase or decrease. Okay, so when you're finding percent increase or decrease, you have to take a couple of steps. So actually, let me see if I can find one of the problems and just go through that with you guys. So hold on 1 second. I know that we have, bear with me, because the questions do change in order. So I don't know necessarily where the question would be. There we go. No, that's not it. Hold on. Just bear with. So these are just measurements. Give me 1 second. Let's see if I can find one. I just want to use one of the ones that you have here as an example. These are all measurements. So I try see if I can find a percent increase or decrease. There we go. Okay. That's not it either. Sorry, this is the same. It's basically taxes. Could be that in this round, there is no percent increase or decrease. Just bear with me. I'm going to pause my video over here until I find one, and then I'll come back on. All right, so here's one of the problems for this one is a percent increase. Whenever we are doing percent increase or decrease, we have to take two steps. There is a subtraction that needs to be done, or and then there's a division that needs to be done. In this case, and again, let's do an example. Okay. 2 weeks ago, the tickets were $275. Now they're $385. So how much have they increased since 2 weeks ago? Okay. So we want the amount of increase over the original amount. In this case, the original amount was $275. The amount of increase is what comes from the subtraction. Okay, so 385 minus 275 to see how many dollars it went up, and then to find the percentage how much of 275, we're going to divide that by the original amount. So the first step is 385 minus 275, 110. Okay, that's in dollar amount. If you wanted to tell a person, hey, the tickets increased by $110, okay, you will be done. But if you wanted to see by what percentage from 275 the tickets increase, then you're going to take that percent of increase and divide it by the original amount, which is 275. Okay. And you're going to get 110 divided by 275, which you can use a calculator for, and you're going to get a decimal. Okay, now remember, this is the opposite. We are getting a decimal, but we want to find out what it is as a percentage. We learned that last week. Either you move the decimal places 2 places to the right and you get 40, or you multiply 0.40 by 100% and you get 40%. Okay. So when you're doing percent increase or decreases, basically you do a subtraction. You subtract the smaller number from the larger number. So the order doesn't matter, smaller from the larger. And then you divide that by the original amount, whatever that amount may be. And that is the percentage of increase or decrease you will find. So hopefully these are helpful. Again, I'm going to post the videos for units. And I'm also going to add a link to Math is Fun section regarding conversion of metric and American units for additional help in addition to what you have in your book. Okay, if you have any questions, let me know. And again, make sure that when you do the discussion post, you don't copy and paste from AI. Thank you.